Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we're going to solve an SQL interview question, and the question is find the company which have at least 2 users who speaks English and Germany. So this is the table that we're going to use. So the table have company ID, user ID, language, and user ID, and then there's language. So company one has company one has 4 users from user ID 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then we have company 2 which has 3 users, user ID 5, 6 and 7. So the question is asking which company have at least 2 users who speaks English. And so for example, in company 1 there's this user who speaks both English and Germany. There's this user 2 speaks only English, user 3 speaks both English and Germany, user 4 speaks only English, and then in company 2 there's user 5 who speaks English, German and Spanish, and then there is also in company 2 there's user 6 who speaks English and Spanish, and then also in company 2 there's user 7 who speaks only English. So we'll first of all find only the user who speaks both English and Germany. So we'll say select company ID, user ID, and count 1. Let's call it PN from company where language is English. Language is English. German. Then you group by company ID, user ID, and then we'll use having count equals to 2, because we are only interested with those users who are only those users who speaks both English and German. So if you run this query, we're going to get a table that is having users who speaks both English and Germany. For example, company 1, there's 2 users who speaks both English and Germany, that is user 1 and user 3. And then in company 2 we have only user 5 who speaks English and Germany. And our question is find company which have at least 2 users who speaks English and Germany, both languages. So for this case we will have to filter only company 1, because Company 1 is the only company that is having at least 2 users who speaks both English and German. So for this case, we're going to use a subquery. So select company ID, and then we're going to count the number of users in each company. Say count, let's call it 1, from this table. So this table was generated through this query, so put a bracket and bracket here, and then we'll call it, we'll give an alias of this table, let's call it D, and then we will group by company ID, and then we will filter by using having count greater or equal to 2. So if you find, if we run this query, we'll get the correct answer. So company 1 is the company that is having at least 2 users who speaks both English and Germany. So I think it's very simple and straightforward. So first of all, we find a table that having users who speaks both English and Germany. So this is the table. We find this table. So in this table we've got the users who speak both English and Germany, and then we've gone further to filter only the companies that have at least 2 users, and then we've filtered only the company that is having 2 users. So we've used the company ID and count, and we've count the number of users in each company. So this table, we've used this table to count the number of users in each company. So in company 1 we had 2 users, and in company 2 we had 1 user, and we were only interested with company having two users. So we filtered using the count greater or equal to 2, and we get the correct answer. Welcome, and let's meet in the next video. Thank you.